What up? What's going on, y'all? This your man Lucky. I'm back with another one. Listen, fellas, if you're in a relationship and you can't seem to get out of that relationship, you're somehow, it's like, you know, the relationship ain't working out. You know the relationship is trash. You know that you're not getting out of it what you want out of it. But for some reason, you just can't walk away. You don't, it's not that you really feel like you're emotionally attached to the woman or emotionally attached to the relationship, but it's just something that's holding you there. I want you to do me a favor and take a look at your history with women or your history with relationships, okay? Now, are you the guy who you're when you're in a relationship and everything is going fine, everything is good, right? You're that loyal guy, you're that faithful guy and everything is fine. But then when the relationship starts to decline and you see things are going bad, you start leaning towards maybe, outside the relationship. Not saying that you're stepping out of the relationship, but you got a friend or you got something kind of on the side that's there, for you to talk to and get stuff off your chest about what's going on in your relationship, right? And then eventually when your relationship goes bad and then your relationship is over, you have that person there to comfort you, and you have them there as a somebody that you can just talk to, hang out with now because you're single and things of that nature, right? At some point in time, that may blossom into a relationship or a situationship, whatever it is that you want to call it, right? Until you find a suitable girlfriend or somebody that's suitable for you to claim as yours and get into a relationship with, right? And then so you get into a relationship with this new person and everything is going fine until things start going bad. When things start going bad, again, you start to lean on maybe somebody from the past or somebody who, you may have met along while you were in this new relationship. The point that I'm trying to get to is, you've been that guy who, whether you were in a relationship or you were quote unquote single because you were not in a relationship, but you've always been in some way, shape, or form attached to a woman. You may not necessarily have been like emotionally attached, like in love, but you've always had access and have utilized that access to a woman, regardless of y'all's status. You've always had a woman to kind of lean on. I'll put it like that. Whether you were in a relationship or not, you've always had a woman that you could lean on. You've always had a woman that you could pick up the phone and call and whatever. You've always had a woman that if you wanted to go hang out with, you could hit her up. Hey, let's go hang out. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go out to eat. Let's this, let's that. You've never been 100% totally detached from a woman. This could be your problem. You're staying in a relationship that you're in because you either don't have someone to fall back on. You don't have someone to fall back on. You don't have someone to fill that void during your in-between time, from one relationship to another. And so you find yourself staying in the current relationship simply because you don't have someone to fall back on, and you've never really 100% been single and unattached to a woman. You're accustomed to, you're familiar with, and you're comfortable with always being attached to someone, whether or not they are suitable for you, whether or not they're who you want, whether or not you're, how can I say it? Like, you'll settle for something rather than just be 100% alone and detached. This is your problem. You're accustomed to being attacked. You're accustomed to being attached, and therefore you're afraid of being detached because you don't even know what it's like to be 100% detached. This is why you're staying in the current situation. And look, your situation right now may be you're living a particular lifestyle, or you're living a particular I don't know, I would say facade, because you might be living a lifestyle, but you're not really happy. But let's just stick with lifestyle. You're living a particular lifestyle that you're comfortable with, and you're looking like, okay, you know what? If I walk away from this, that means I'm gonna have to be 100% totally by myself, which you have a fear of because you've never done it before. Or I do have someone over here who's suitable. However, I'm not going to be able to live the same lifestyle that I live now. Listen, there is nothing wrong with being alone. Let me break something down to you. In my opinion, the way I see it, right? I believe in like energy, vibes, and stuff like that. The only way that you can fully elevate yourself is if you isolate yourself. The more and more you are around someone else or other people in general, the more vibes and the more energy you are going to take in. You understand what I'm saying? And the more vibes and the more energy that you absorb and that you take in, the less of your vibes and your energy that you are going to have to yourself. In order for you to rejuvenate and become 100% totally you and all you, you have to isolate. You have to get those other people's vibes and energy out of you. And you cannot 100% get all of those vibes out of you if you're constantly around people. Look, you may get out of the relationship with your girl, and then now you're dealing with somebody else. Again, you're still single, but you're involved with them in some way, shape, or form. You're spending time with them. You're going to now, you may ease out of the attachment that you have with your current girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend. You're going through a breakup or whatever, but now you're going to slowly ease into absorbing the energy of whoever it is that you're spending time with now. You understand what I'm saying? If you've never fully been totally detached from someone else, you're never going to fully know who you are, because you always have, or you are always absorbing some of someone else's energy. Guys, stop being afraid to be alone. If you've never been alone before, let me tell you something. It's not that bad. Matter of fact, it's not bad at all. But if you've never dealt with it before, yeah, I mean, it might feel awkward. You're just going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, oh, I'm bored. And you understand what I'm saying? But when you get to the point where you find your purpose, you get on your grind, you get back into your hobbies and things like that, and you begin to actually learn who you are, I promise you, you will be a much better person, to the point where you won't settle. When you hear people out here talking about, oh, I'm not going to settle for this, and I got standards and I got boundaries and all of that, those are people who have totally detached from somebody, learned who they are, learned to love themselves 100%, totally, without needing someone else. And they're at a point where they're never going to sacrifice themselves for someone else. They're okay with being alone. Being alone is not being lonely. See, when you're alone and lonely, it's because you don't really know who you are and what it is that you want. Look, you can be in a whole relationship, you can be in a whole marriage and be lonely. You don't even know who you are in that relationship. You don't even know who you are in that marriage or situation or whatever it is. You don't even know who you are, because you've given so much of your energy away and you have absorbed so much of someone else's energy. It's not lining up. The energy and the vibes and all that you have in you is not really lining up, because it's not really who you are. Look, guys, you got to be able to get out of your situation and be 100% totally alone. Detach. Listen, I'm not a player. I've never been a player, but I have always had access to women. I've never had a problem with, not being able to pick up the phone and call somebody, or I've never been in a situation where, I just did not have access to a woman. I've never had to deal with that. And I'm sure that there are many of you guys who have never had to deal with that. However, I have been alone. I have been to the point where, hey, look, even though I have access to this person over here, because that person is not the ideal person for me, let them stay where they are. But some of you guys can't do that. You'll settle for something. You'll settle for anything in order to just not have nothing. You'll settle for what you don't want as opposed to just being alone. And that doesn't make sense. And this is what happens. A lot of you guys just go from relationship to situation to situationship to into a new relationship. And you're accepting things that you don't even want initially from the gate. You're overlooking red flags and you're putting yourselves in bad situations simply because you do not want to be alone. You have a fear of being alone. You've never been in any way, shape, or form emotionally detached. For some reason, you need some type of attachment to someone. And a lot of times, it's always a woman. Yeah, you're always going to have your friends and stuff like that. But a lot of you guys just always have to have, that access or that attachment to a woman. And I'm telling you guys, it's not good. You will never, ever fully reach your full potential if you do not know how to detach. Because trust me, getting to the top, you must know who you are. You must be able to detach from the things that are not going your direction. You must be able to detach from the things that are not working out for you. You must be able to detach. And I'm telling you guys, if you don't have the ability to detach and be alone, because you got to isolate in order to elevate, I'm telling you this. If you do not, or you never develop the ability to detach and be alone, you'll never reach greatness. Listen, guys, walk away from that situation that no longer serves you. Walk away from that woman that's disrespecting you. She's violating you. She's cheating on you, betraying you. She's disloyal. Whatever it is, you're not happy in the situation. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the woman. It has everything to do with you. You're choosing to stay in a situation. You can't be like, she's doing this and she's doing that and all that. Okay, if she's doing those things, fine. Why are you staying there? Why are you staying? Get up and get out there. It's okay to be alone. Being alone is not being lonely, and it's okay. You should never be at a point in your life where a relationship or a woman validates you. A lot of you guys don't want to be alone because you're like, oh, I don't want to, I ain't got no girl. Man, come on. It's okay to be alone. It's not a problem to be alone. Isolate to elevate. Look, get about that situation. But if you look back at your past and you see like, man, I've always gone from relationship to relationship. I have not spent a year, 6 months just alone, not dealing with any woman in any way, shape, or form. Not going on any dates, not going out to dinner, not hanging out, not getting no action. You know what I'm saying? Leave the apple pie alone. If you can't leave the apple pie alone, that warm apple pie, that hot box, I don't know, hot pocket, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is you call it, if you cannot leave that alone for 6 months, if you can't leave that alone for 6 months, if you can't go, man, you got a problem. You have a problem. Listen, detach, guys. Walk away from that situation. Look back at your past. And if you look back at your past and you're like, wow, you know what? I've never really been, you may have been single, but you've never just not dealt with some woman in some way, shape, or form. Man, you got to do some real looking in the mirror, man, and figuring some things out. You probably have a fear of being alone, and you just do not know how to be 100% fully detached from a woman, and you're not going to get far. So if you're really trying to figure out why you cannot walk away from this woman that is violating you or is betraying you, you know that you're not getting anything out of this particular situation that you're in, look back at your past. Have you ever been 100% totally alone by yourself? And if you haven't, Maybe it's time to. Maybe it's time to sit back, be by yourself. Build yourself up. A lot of times, man, you get with a woman and you're building with that woman. So now when it comes time where you got to walk away because the relationship isn't working, now you're looking at everything that y'all built together and you're looking at what it is you have the potential to lose. Forget about losing your mind. Forget about losing your peace. You're looking at losing your lifestyle. Oh, I'm used to this lifestyle, or I'm used to this, or I'm used to getting that warm apple pie, or whatever it is. You've built something with detach. Build your own by yourself. This is what you do. But I'm saying, look back at your history. Look back at your past, your dating history, your past, your relationship histories. How long have you actually been totally detached from a woman? And if you cannot walk away from your current situation and you're just trying to figure out, like, I know this is not for me. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I just can't walk away and I don't know what it is. Look back, man. Just look back at your history. Your history will determine your future. So you got to make a change. Walk away from that situation, man. Be by yourself. When you walk away, be by yourself. Don't just walk away. Y'all guys be jumping into rebound relationships and stuff like that. Come on, man. Come on. Walk away from that situation that no longer serves you. Now, look, if you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, try to work it out. Try to do what you can do. Build yourself up. Try to work it out. But if you cannot, you have to get to a point where, you know what, I got to get up out of this and I got to just do my own thing. I got to be by myself for a while. All right? If you can't walk away and you're trying to figure out why, this is probably why. Look at your history. Have you ever been 100% totally detached? And if you can't walk away, it's probably because you have not found a suitable replacement. Forget about a suitable replacement. Be by yourself. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good.